Welcome to KMET 1490 AM ABC News Radio and the Southern California Business Report with Yvette Walker, a show dedicated to highlighting successful Southern California businesses and the people behind them.
Welcome and thank you for joining Southern California Business Report on ABC News and Talks, KMET 1490 AM, 98.1 FM, and KMET TV. I'm Yvette Walker, live blasting our signal from the center of Southern California, serving a population of over 25 million. Get us crystal clear and on demand by downloading the free live streaming app, as you know, on Google Play or the Apple App Store. And as always, a huge shout out to the team. Mitch, Bill, and Sean. I love you guys. And another reminder to our audience to take a look at www.scbrtalk.com/advisory committee. Click on the link and learn about the incredible leaders doing the work. Okay, everybody, I am absolutely thrilled today to introduce Stephanie Velasco. She is General Secretary of Big West Rotaract for 2023 to 2025 for District 5420, coming to us from Utah. Ms. Velasco began in Rotary at Utah RILA in 2010. She is an award-winning past Interact Club founder and president, 9 years as RILA Video Photo Chair, Mid-Valley Community Rotaract Club founder, president, and Rotaractor of the Year, Hawaii Youth Peace Ambassador, attended North American RILA and several zone institutes. She served 5 district governors, received a Paul Harris First Dual Rotaractor Rotarian of Utah, past District 5420 Rotaract representative, co-chair of Rotaract Pan American Conference, and positive peace activator for USA Canada. Also, a Big West Rotaract director for 2021 to 2023, and Big West Rotaract General Secretary 23 to 26. She's also been the president for Rotary Club of Mid-Valley from 23 to 25. Actually, she is the president for the Rotary Club of Mid-Valley, owner of Rothika Photography and Design, and operations director for Scatterscape Photography. Thank you so much for being with us today, Stephanie.
Thank you, Yvette. I appreciate the opportunity.
Perfect. So my apologies for getting tongue-tied with the Rotary, Rotaracts, and RILAs of the world, but you are here to set the record straight and make sense of it all. Thank you so much for being with us. So in your bio, it shows that today you are the General Secretary for Big West Rotaract. Let's start off by first talking about how you became engaged with Rotary.
Yeah, so actually I was introduced to Rotary back in 2007. My mom actually happened to be joining into Rotary and chartered the Rotary Club of Hispano Latino here in Utah. And 2007 is the time that they made that happen. Through that, me growing up with parents in volunteerism and just seeing the community in an open way, I got the opportunity to join into a project. And this kind of became my why. Then discovering years later of why I wanted to join Rotary as a whole myself. But I joined on a project that was giving back to refugees of the community here. And they were taking trailers of visiting different homes, 18-wheel trailers. And through that, we ended up at one of the last homes that had 24 people living in a home. They all lived in plastic mattresses that were on the floor, that were just wrapped in that and had nothing else in the home. And I mean, if you look at the fridge, it was bare. If you look at the home, it was just those mattresses in plastic. It left a lasting impact with me to see that with this trailer, what we're bringing in, it was clothing, it was furniture, it was food that we were delivering from a couple of other people who were bringing that from the local areas, and just seeing the impact it was making into their hearts, as far as being able to both help the adults and the children that couldn't even speak English at the time. And so being able to, with the little bit of thank yous that they could give, to see the impact of the children receiving the books and the food and the clothing, to have something more to welcoming them to our communities, forever has made a lasting impact on me. So in 2010, I took the opportunity to grow through the Rotary programs by attending RILA, And that's our local youth camp in order to find yourself as a leader, see who you are, see where you want to grow. That made an everlasting impact on my personal story and some of the things that I discovered through that camp, through the people I met, the stories we shared, the mentors I made through that opportunity, and came back from it, a 3-day camp, and decided, why not put one of those opportunities in my high school and opening that door to others. So we did that. We created, it was a private school inside of a community school, created our local Interact Club. From there, it blossomed to having over 25 members per year for the time that I was there and graduated high school in 2012. And just continue that opportunity to, okay, what's the next steps? And found that to be Rotaract. Okay, let's go to college. Let's see if the colleges have it. They don't have it. Okay, what are the other opportunities? Well, our state of Utah didn't have very many community clubs at the time because it was more focused into the university groups. I was going to a community college, and there was some hard things to kind of challenges to get through. So with a few friends of mine from a few of the different colleges that were graduating, they wanted to continue to make the impact, but were not able to stay in those clubs because they were graduating. So we came together and we said, why not create a Rotaract club for our community and grow the impact that we're going to make into several different communities. So we did that. And we continued on and to be able to discover the different conferences that were out there, the other training opportunities through this, and the impact we were making in our own community. And it opened that door to then discovering Big West. And so we were able to then continue on to now our next opportunities through the Rotary programs.
I absolutely love that story, Stephanie, and your why is very similar to my why, except I was on the other side of the coin. I was, a young girl in the home with my mother and my brother after my mother had been recently widowed. And these perfect strangers, when our cupboards were bare and our refrigerator was empty and we had no hopes for experiencing Thanksgiving that year, showed up with a box full of food, those industrial boxes, that lasted us over 6 months, and 2 turkeys stacked on top of them. And just like it was for you a transformational moment, it was a transformational moment for me as well, which is why I absolutely support and encourage and I'm a part of Rotary today, which is why this month of October we will be shining a spotlight on Rotary, on Rotarians, and efforts that Rotary conducts not only locally or regionally or nationally, but internationally throughout the world. So I'm so thankful for you to make the time and to share your why. It just really struck home. I wasn't expecting to hear that. So I would have been remiss to not have mentioned that and to inform our audience that we will be hearing your story and others like yours throughout the month of October. So I'm very thrilled. And with that said, you mentioned Big West Rotaract territory. What exactly is Big West Rotaract? What does that cover? And how many members are a part of this approximately?
Yeah, so Big West Rotaract is a 501c nonprofit organization that provides leadership training and education to students and young professionals within the western region of North America. So basically, some areas of Colorado west, basically, covering the United States and also parts of Canada. Back in 2010, Rotaract clubs and districts from across the Western North America have collaborated through different projects and conferences. In 2015, some of our leadership and districts came together from Big West Rotaract as a registered multi-district informational organization, MDIO for short, from Rotary International. Big West serves a total of 28 member districts across 3 Rotary zones in Western North America, equaling 106 Rotaract clubs in our region that we currently serve to this day. Every year it fluctuates, but that is currently where we're at right now. But overall, our mission is to provide leadership and training and education to Rotaractors of the Western North America throughout leadership training institutes, conferences, information exchanges, and digital resources.
Perfect. So before we go into Rotaract, let's set the stage with RILA, because RILA is the segue to reaching Rotaract. Please tell us those various steps and what RILA looks like.
Yeah, so RILA is anything between a 2-day to 3-day leadership training. Ultimately, you're finding yourself in the high school age group. Some do it as of freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. Some areas different do it a little bit differently, but that is what we do here in the state of Utah. From that, during that time, they have different speakers, they have different workshops, they have different collaboration efforts, and also creating and leaving with a service project by the end of it of the individuals across our region is the state of Utah. So we cover that. There are several other clubs and districts that cover different parts of different regions. Say California has multiple different clubs and districts. Say Colorado, they have multiple districts and clubs as well. Every area varies in sizes, but as far as the ultimate goal, it's discovering the type of leader you want to be. How do you want to go about that? And also creating that network within your community to then further create the next steps of leadership growth and also the impact you're making in your community.
Please talk about what some of those RILA projects have, turned into from your experience coming up through the ranks of the different stages.
Yeah, so some of the projects have been either local cleanup activities based on where Rotary has been in the past. Some of them have trail cleanups to even doing collaborations and collections for future opportunities with those of the homeless community. Some have been collecting food. Some focus on more of the holidays specific, and so it becomes more into either health and hygiene kits. What are more needed during what times of the year that they're kind of emphasizing on, and what they're seeing the need in their community. That's ultimately the overall of asking the community, hey, what is it that we're assessing and seeing into your area that is most needed, and how can we help you? And so through the mentors that are there at the leadership training, they're helping them open the ideas of what questions to ask. How do you want to plan a project? What is needed to do it, and to further that on. So then that's where it leads to then the partnership between the different Interact clubs as you're getting into high school, and the next steps of growth and bridging the gap in Rotary as what we said.
Wonderful. So as a RILA inductee and completing that program, the 3-day retreat for the RILA session, and then going into Interact, does the Interact group interface with outside entities to move their projects forward, or is it more insulated and more reliant on Rotary members, let's say?
It's a partnership of both. They look more to Rotary members as to the guidance of either financial support, also connections, and also at the same time, because it is everyone that is 17 and younger, of course they need support either to get to places, it's youth, so there is a lot of that type of protection. Also at the same time, a lot of the Rotarians have the support of knowing who in the community they can partner up with as far as those nonprofits or other outside organizations for them to further that with either the food banks or the cleanups or the state parks, opening those doors. Because sometimes in high school, I'm like, I want to be active. I have the time. I can do this. But I don't know exactly who, what, where, why, when to establish those connections. So it's really beautiful in the partnership that you're able to develop that, because later on for those that are in the high school groups and Interact, you're able to then revisit a lot of those as you continue your growth to Rotaract. And also at the same time, it creates a base streamline for those that are going to be graduating to then lead to the next part of Rotaract as they go to college, wherever it may be. But again, back to the partnership, it is all about doing the community assessments of seeing what is important, what is needed at those different times of the year, either within a 3-month to a 1-year planning based on the projects or events they would like to do.
So please talk about the transition from Interact to Rotaract. What does that look like? Is that based on age, where you are in your education, or all of the above?
So the transition is more of anyone that becomes then 18 or older is able to be a part of Rotaract. Those are for our university and community groups. Those have a little bit of a two different side rule based on kind of what they can or cannot do in a sense. But again, there's never a no possibility. It's always a yes of what is the opportunity. It just kind of depends on the direction each group wants to go. So when anyone is about to either graduate and or is already of 18 years of age, you're able to join a Rotaract club. On Rotary.org, you're able to look up under their club finder and just search up Rotaract. And you can see the local Rotaract groups that are in your area and able to join by contacting the president of that club, saying, hey, I'm interested. I would like to come and see what you guys are about. And I would like to be involved in my community further. How can I join? So that is the steps as far as for them to be able to discover, go about that. But it enhances the next step of either if they're going towards their careers, and further development into not just leadership, but who they are and where they want to go. Because we have it where our network is a global network, being 1.2 to 4 million members worldwide. The sky's the limit. But also at the same time, there's a lot of internship opportunities. There's a lot of opportunities between different organizations, entities, as far as government, not government. The sky's the limit on what they want to do. It's more of just the direction they want to go.
Absolutely. So I love that you spoke about these leadership opportunities, these intern opportunities, especially for our, Rotaracts groups, and something for our Interact groups to look forward to. What do some of those leadership opportunities look like today? You mentioned a global network of nearly 1.4 million current Rotary members, and it's kind of hard to put into words what that looks like and the opportunities that exist, but please try to give us an example of what some of those leadership opportunities may look like.
So we have a lot of between mentorship, service projects, leadership, traveling, networking, public speaking skills. More focused within our NDIOs, we have opportunities between focusing on the clubs. We have expert hubs. We have resources within our specific region. There's also where if you want to get into marketing, trainings, conference planning, both locally and internationally, the sky's the limit on what you want to do. In a nutshell, those are kind of more of the main focuses on where we're at. But ultimately, they have another opportunity within peace. If your focus is more into those type of areas, you can either become a peace activator and go through the Peace Academy training and also join into our peace cohorts, or you can also become a peace fellow by being a non-Rotarian. So it kind of depends on, again, the direction they want to go, but those are some of the main opportunities that we have right now.
Right. And earlier we read on your bio that you were a youth peace ambassador for Hawaii. Please talk about that experience and what that looks like, since you are talking about that peace element that is available to those that are wanting to explore it through Rotaract.
So I had a little bit of an interest into more of the peace and conflict resolution at that time. So myself and 6 others were awarded an opportunity to go to Hawaii for a peace training back in 2013. And through that, we were able to be the representatives for the state of Utah, representing at this conference. And we got to hear with some of the leaders of what is going on as far as peace and conflict resolution practices, see and understand also the different type of workshops and training of how we can bring peace back to our communities and create projects outside of that, whether that's learning how to further either mediation between young leaders amongst our same age groups within our schools, helping them further within the libraries and education, as far as like the grassroots areas of needs to then sustain further peace in the community as we grow further. That was more of the focus in the time of back in 2013 when I joined him.
That is remarkable. So how did it feel as a young person, right? How old were you in 2013? I'm not going to guess.
I'm 30 now. I will be honest with that. So that's a few years ago.
Okay, so you're closer to 15 years old, approximately. Okay, around there. And here you are traveling to Hawaii to be an ambassador on behalf of the state of Utah. Talk about that experience and the overall impact it gave you and your perspective of the world and your place in it.
It was a huge appreciation, to be honest. To be amongst the people of the brains that you feel sometimes like the imposter syndrome of like, oh man, this person knows so much more than me. To be honest, we all have something to offer each other. But the biggest thing that I came back as a takeaway with it too was learning amongst how to create more peace within my own household, with my friends, but also at the same time too, listening, understanding, being open to the difficult conversations, how to have those, to be honest, and at the same time see how that continues to affect my daily life now. A lot of us don't take the time to fully understand each other. Whether that's simply, there's one thing over text and emails, but context is everything in the conversations that we have today. And so being able to fix that either via a Zoom call or being able to do that over a phone call and really hearing and understanding what that person is expressing and feeling, that helps tone down a lot of the harder conversations. So then everybody come back together with further understanding of the intentions and also at the same time what we can do better amongst the conflict that we may have within our own community. So I came back as a more open person in life and with a better and understanding and appreciation for the things that everybody is doing, both in the peace communities, but also in the nonprofit communities to this day.
And so what was the key strategy that you were able to take away in order to be able to establish peace and to have those difficult conversations?
Thoroughly listening. That was my biggest strategy. Rather than listening to just respond, it was listening to understand. A lot of us, I wish we would take those 3 seconds that we say to be able to do more of that. But sharing it with others and being able to have those one-on-one conversations has made that a lot easier. So I've had a lot of opportunity to, amongst my peers, share with them of the impact and the hardships that we've all experienced in our early days of life, how that's changed to this day of never, you can't regret something. You have to go through something to teach you something, but you can't look at hardship as as not a lesson. It has to be a lesson for us to continue on and to be able to go about it. So, whether it's good, whether it's bad, I make sure that everything that happens to this day, we don't regret it. We leave nothing unsaid, and then we continue on to go about it with the open mind of understanding.
Extremely well said. And with that said, Stephanie, we were going to be hitting on a break. Everybody listening right now, Yvette Walker with ABC News and Talk, Southern California Business Report, here today with Miss Stephanie Velasco. She is the General Secretary of Big West Rotaract, who is a catalyst for positive change. Her unwavering dedication and infectious enthusiasm have been instrumental in spearheading impactful community projects and fostering a spirit of service among her peers. When we return.
Cal State San Bernardino is home to the only school of entrepreneurship in California. With globally ranked degree programs, you can start your journey today to become a successful entrepreneur. Learn more and connect at entre.csusb.edu.
Hi, I'm Dana Rademacher with MGR Property Management.
A lot of people wonder about the value that property management has for their property. Property management can include all property types, including residential, commercial, and HOA. It is valuable because property managers are experienced in what can happen at your property. We're aware of liabilities. We're able to do predictive and preventative maintenance. We know what is coming up with the changes in the weather, the seasons, how old certain aspects or different capital projects at your property are. We're able to best negotiate contract pricing, legalities with your tenants, and anything else that you may need to ensure that you're getting the full value of the property. If you're interested in speaking with the representative at MGR Property Management regarding your property management needs, you can visit our website at mgrrealestate.com, or you can call our number at area code 909-581-6600 to be connected with a representative.
Hi, I'm San Bernardino County Sheriff Shannon Dykes. If you're looking to start an exciting career in law enforcement and make a difference in your community, we are hiring dispatchers, nurses, deputies, laterals, and many more. For a complete list of our jobs and more information, visit sheriffsjobs.com.
We are the Empire Strikers, the professional sports team of the Inland Empire. We are a fast-actioned and community-inspired pro indoor soccer team. Our mission is to inspire the Empire. Home games, community events, watch parties, and youth camps are all back. Professional indoor soccer is back. Join us and come watch the greatest show on turf at Toyota Arena or on Twitch. Visit www.theempirestrikers.com for more and any information.
The University of La Verne is rated first in California for alumni satisfaction. Learn more about accelerated programs offered online and on campus in La Verne, Irvine, Ontario, Burbank, or College of the Canyons. Visit go.laverne.edu. The University of La Verne. go.laverne.edu. Ontario International Airport is onto a better way to fly with over 65 daily non-stop flights to more than 20 major destinations and the easiest airport experience in Southern California. Visit flyonto.com/Ontario to learn more about Ontario International Airport today.
Welcome back, everyone. Yvette Walker with ABC News and Talks, KMET 1490 AM, 98.1 FM, and KMET TV, and Southern California Business Report here today with Stephanie Velasco, the dynamic and compassionate General Secretary of Big West Rotaract, who is a catalyst for positive change. Her unwavering dedication and infectious enthusiasm have been instrumental in spearheading impactful community projects and fostering a spirit of service among her peers. Thank you again for being with us today, Stephanie.
Thank you again. Appreciate the opportunity and happy to be here.
Wonderful. So prior to the break, you were sharing with us the various stages of young Rotary leaders, including RILA, Interact, and Rotaract. And you also shared with us your experience as the Youth Peace Ambassador for Hawaii, which just leaving that conversation and going into the break was so overwhelming and inspiring for me. So thank you so much for sharing your perspective, and especially, having experienced that at such a young age, I can only imagine the transformative light it placed on your path moving forward, which is why you're here today, because you have done so much in such a relatively short amount of time. But that is the beauty of Rotary in terms of the framework that exists to support those that are passionate about their communities and about serving and volunteering and giving back to others, which is again why this month I'm going to be putting a spotlight on Rotary and Rotarians and their work around the world. So thank you again for being with us, Stephanie. And as we mentioned, we were talking about the different leadership opportunities. Let's talk about leadership opportunities that interactors and Rotaractors may be surprised to learn about.
Yeah, so it's more of bridging the gap in the sense and helping them understand, okay, there are next steps of where we can go and how we can grow. And so through that and how they come into joining into Rotaract, a lot of them don't know that even as seniors and wanting to see around they to use that global network. How do they do it, and what resources and how can they find it? Yes, one thing is the Rotary website. The other thing is that we have several Facebook pages of the acting clubs that are working in their community. And so it's really easy for them to find it on social media, both Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, the masses. It is out there, and it's not hard for them to find. The beauty about Rotary and how they've been actually opening the doors into the next steps for Rotaractors has taken its time and in the structure, and also streamlining, what can be done to help those that are of the college age groups and to take those next steps. So in 2016, Rotary International opened the door for both dual Rotaractor Rotarian to help strengthen the opportunities both within the clubs that either are sponsoring them or that are not sponsoring them, and just wanting to be able to grow a friendship further for their leadership opportunities. And then back in 2019, also Rotaract was then able to be counted from Rotary International. So now their numbers are counted. They're a part of it, and fully showing, hey, Rotary really does see us as a whole, and wanting us to be a part of one. And then in 22, Rotary International added Rotary International dues for Rotaractors, and right now still they're trying to figure out what that means, how that goes about it. But as far as the impact that it is to make in both creating accountability as adults and the impact that we're doing, we're showing that everything that we do as a Rotarian really does go back hand in hand to the community that we are a part of.
Absolutely. And we look at 2024, on the back end of the pandemic and the economy. Workforce development is a huge part of the conversation when we look at the economy and those workforce areas that really need more reinforcement and support, i.e. healthcare, law enforcement, education, things of that nature, where they either had mass, retirements, mass exodus, and so on. What are some workforce development opportunities that Rotaracts can come to experience alongside Rotarians that are seasoned professionals in their various industries?
So a lot of this gets them into the opportunity to be hand in hand and either to find those internships based on the areas of practice they're going in, whether that's medical, whether that's women and child health, whether that's economy, whether that's government. The door is always open there, even education. Rotary has our 7 areas of focus, and also Peace has their 8 pillars of peace. They are all hand in hand of how they are put together as far as the directionality and where they want to be. But there is no closed door to building that relationship and rapport, because that's the biggest thing about Rotary. And getting to know you or getting to know any others, say if they want to get into more of the news or anything like that, we have an opportunity to call you up and say, hey, do you have any opportunities with internships, or do you know anybody who is possibly has an open door into my direction of where I want to go? For me, it was big into being a part of doing the technology for the district governors that I served when I was young in high school and still trying to take a hobby of photography, of where can that go. I was told by somebody that it would never make me money. To this day, I've proved them wrong in being able to show them, hey, because of the opportunities that Rotary has provided me, it led me to my career and my directionality. Now I'm basically secondhand to an owner of a company that is also for residential and real estate commercial photography, and running an operations team through several different states. Because of Rotary, these opportunities happen. So it's pretty much continuing to build the rapport with the people that are next to you, that are your mentors, and being able to do that. That is why the doors of the dual membership have opened, in order for us to spend more time together in the impact we're making in our communities, but also making sure that we are getting to the career path that we want to grow within.
Wonderful. So let's talk about those top priorities for Rotaracts. You did mention the top priorities that are being focused on, as well as the peace element. So let's start with the Rotaract's vision and their focus, and then move on to the peace elements that are on the forefront as well.
Yeah, so a lot of this and what we're trying to do within the next several years is coming back together as a rebuilding our relationships. During this time and the restructuring that Rotary International has brought us, and also just recounting numbers, making sure, seeing where we're at, I've taken a bigger hand into making sure that with the opportunities of either training conferences and or getting us a seat at the table, that is our biggest thing. We don't want to just sit at the table. We want to be able to be hand in hand working together with our peers and talking to them, and how can we open doors. So our first year, last year, has been spent on time doing that, really rebuilding the relationships and creating the next step. After that, it's creating opportunities for the leadership growth in actually having those conferences, those age groups that are coming together. Okay, now we have the information of who we can contact, where we can go, who's interested in what. We're really listening to our community of Rotaractors and Rotarians on the questions of, how can we talk to this group better? How can we work better with this group? What do we need better in our community assessments? What are we looking at as far as our directions? And then the next part is then of how we're going to help them navigate the path of change and leave an open door to further the community connection of sustainability and longevity for our clubs. That is our biggest goal, and also at the same time the impact that we make on the community. Sustainability has been huge amongst our projects and our conferences and the plannings, because if it's not sustainable, it's going to be a harder time of keeping it going, both on the financial perspective, but also at the same time in the impact perspective. We want to make an impact that is long lasting. So that is our goals, directions for the time that I'm doing General Secretary, and also at the same time for those directors that will be incoming these next couple of years. For our NDIO, that is also going to be the goals as well.
Right. So you did mention a structure. Please go a little bit in depth into that structure. What does that look like when you're a Rotaractor or a Rotarian? What type of structure do each of these groups have to guide them in their strategies moving forward to serve the communities that they're a part of?
So within the structure and also the opportunities, you have, it's kind of based on the family path. So the RILA, the Interact, the Rotaract. The Rotaract has a structure based on the club, the district Rotaract representative, then getting into either the Big West Rotaract directorships, the dual members, or into the path of peace, and or into district leadership opportunities amongst your peers. So it's more of that, both on a locally but also on a global scale, is how we're opening those doors.
Right. So every Rotary Club has a board, let's say, right? Like any other regular board. Let's talk about how each group or each specific club, especially for the cities that they represent. Like you mentioned, California, they have clubs all throughout California. I started off on the Upland Rotary Club. I'm now part of the La Mirada Rotary Club. Actually, talk about dual membership. I believe I have dual membership for both. Please talk about what that structure within the individual clubs looks like to ensure that these, points are being followed through and implemented in the community, and also structured in a way that there is accountability and analytical support to realize those measurable outcomes.
Yeah, so Rotary International has helped us with the easy guidelines of, you have your club president, vice president, you have your officers, and then you have your membership teams. Your membership teams are then broken out into either projects, events, what is on the local impact, what is on the fundraising side, what is on the membership side, all different aspects. But every club has a little bit of a difference, and also within marketing. At the same time, we have what is called our zone leadership teams, and that's where our Rotaract NDIO comes in. There's also then the zone leadership of the marketing teams that come in, and public image, and also at the same time then they have the officers. Everybody has various aspects into how a club goes about, but a Rotaract club and a Rotary club mirror that same structural point as far as president, officers, and clubs, and also the different aspects they might want to have into marketing and so on. So we have the same similar point into our MDIO as far as the structure point, to match what is going on in our region as well, and also based on what the clubs at those times have interest in. And so that way we can help guide and answer those questions from a larger scale based on what Rotary International has going on, but also at the same time on the local scales based on what those different areas, district clubs are asking for as well for the future groups that do come in.
So with that, Stephanie, please talk about what the perfect Rotaract looks like, what the perfect Interact looks like, who the perfect candidate for RILA would be. Talk about what those characteristics are, and again, share with us the ways people can engage.
So I'll start with the RILA. A lot of people, what they are thinking that it is those that are student body officers, those main ones that are always the presidents of different clubs. Ultimately, for RILA, if there is somebody that is passionate about giving back to their community and wants to make an impact, those are the true people that we are looking for into coming to Rotary, because those are the people who have the passion, the conviction, and the want to do more where they're at. And so we are continue to ask everybody as a whole, continue to have that happen. Continue to keep that enthusiasm, to keep that love, those moments of our whys of impact. Those are the people that we want to continue to be here with us in RILA. So those are the people that we're asking for that. As far as a perfect Interact club and Rotaract club, there is never a perfect one. I will say this. Everybody has their different interests, the different ways that they are able to do as far as in their community, the impact. Ultimately, if even if it's a club of 7 or 25 members into it, ultimately the impact they are making in their community as a whole is what we are asking for, as far as creating sustainability in their projects and in their club, and continuing to share that amongst others that have a future opportunity in those leadership steps. With Rotary, the reason I'm it's pretty much my second job of life, because Rotary has done a lot for me in saving me as a person. If it wasn't for me going to that RILA youth program, I would not be here today. So for me to then be able to see how Rotary has changed that impact of my life, and to give that back to Rotary as a whole, that's what it's about. That's what it's about for the future people to come into the leaderships and to grow and open those doors for others, because we all have similar stories. We all have similar impacts of life, and that's what we're looking for in our Rilarians, Interactors, Rotaractors, and Rotarians.
So that is absolutely phenomenal. Thank you for sharing that. Tell us again, Stephanie, about the dual membership for Rotaractors and Rotarians, as we're bridging that gap to create that pipeline to grow the clubs and create a segue for the next generation of Rotarians, not only as a part of giving and supporting their communities, but also as a part of filling those gaps in the workforce as well.
Yeah, it opens the door ultimately on creating better relationships, having the rapport amongst both groups. So I'll give you an example for the state of Utah. We only have 2 Rotary clubs that have enabled the opportunity for dual membership. It is something that they just have to change by wording in their bylaws to enable that. And if it wasn't for the club that I'm currently president of, when they did that for me back when it changed in 2016, I wouldn't have 7 years of a Rotarian. if it wasn't for them and seeing that potential of me as a leader and also a few others that are doing the same with my group as well, to be able to create our opportunity of growth, leadership, but also to strengthen the clubs as a whole. Now, some other clubs have done the same. There are some others that are doing the same in several other different states. And it's beautiful to see that because they are creating more numbers and also helping the impact of strengthening the groups further. And that's ultimately our biggest goal, but it creates that career path for them to be able to see, okay, this is where I want to go, this is who I want to be around, and this is the person that has changed my life and makes a difference, and I want to be able to spend more time with them and doing something good in our community at the same time. So that is why dual membership is so beautiful, and I'm so grateful that we have the opportunity to do so in order to help aspects in our different communities.
That is tremendous. So in addition to your why project that brought you into Rotary, please talk about, any other projects, either by you or other groups that really stood out to you and were extremely impressive. And, what are your goals as the General Secretary for Big West Rotaract today as you look into 2025?
So, as far as a few different impacts, as far as some other leaders and some groups, through some of the peace community, as well as our district in Utah sponsoring a few of the peace programs that have been out of Bogota, Colombia, and also Mexico and Merida, Yucatan. For Colombia, I got to know a lot of the Rotaractors. I did a partnership training session between those in Rotaract and the YMCA. During that time also, it was those that were about 23, 22 years of age in creating those peace trainings and projects, and also doing peer-to-peer learning as well. I got to know some of their career paths and why. Some hard stories, as I got to hear from them, was that during the time they had experienced a lot of the guerrilla items that were going down there, and unfortunately, a few of them had children because of them. The impact that they created and turned around the hardship that had happened to them is they got into the career of social work, so they could help others that were going through their same thing, but also at the same time they can give back to their community. But the biggest thing they were teaching in that community was forgiveness, because they had to do the same thing to those that created the hardships amongst their communities in order to be convicted. But also at the same time, then the projects they were creating was and finding out was that they had to start at the grassroots. The reason why a lot of the conflict was going on in the community. So for some of them, they started a project of going to the movie theater and having dinner. For a lot of them, it is very expensive to do so in those communities. And so they were asking donations of us over here in order to help take it to them to the movies. And so we asked them, we're like, how much does it cost to be able to go to the movies? And it's, to them, it's very expensive. And so I gave them $100. And I said, please, let's have this help you guys and see how far it goes. Come to find out, it helped 120 children experience the movie theaters for the first time, and also go to dinner out to a fancy place for the first time. And this was those that were of 6th graders who have never been able to experience this and continue to further on. So it was a huge project that we've continued to support, keep relationships, and see also how they are creating mediators amongst the different libraries and also in the different elementary schools to help the children speak with their parents further. So those different kind of actions were very huge for us. And also at the same time, then in Merida, a lot of them became those for the Peace Laureates in order to be able to do translations. Seeing for the impact they were making with those projects that were going on in their communities, but also being translators because of how they wanted to be able to help their communities further in creating understanding and then do that on a larger global scale. That they've actually done that for several of our trainings as well that people have put on, both in the U.S., Latin America countries, and different areas. It was huge to see the partnerships amongst those groups from such a far away distance. And that was something that has continued to impact us to this day and create blossoming friendships as well. So,
that is amazing. And so
all little
very
pieces.
quickly, yeah, we have a minute left, but very quickly share what you would like to see in your role as General Secretary for Big West Rotaract.
Yeah, so my biggest top three things are rebuilding relationships, creating opportunities for others and leadership growth, and also into the business growth and development for themselves as well. And then help navigate the path of change and creating an open door for further community connection, both sustainability and longevity for others. Giving those open doors to others that I had myself. So I want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for being with us today, Stephanie.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you all.
All right, perfect. Everybody listening, you know where to look for us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Check us out on scbrtalk.com. A few community events coming at you now. As you know, we're at a critical shortage for blood accessibility. So La Via Bella is conducting a blood drive on Tuesday, October 8th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Just one donation saves 3 lives. La Via Bella is located at 792 West Arrow Highway, Unit B in Upland, California. Again, that's Tuesday, October 8th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. La Via Bella is conducting a blood drive with Red Cross of America. All right, everybody. AMPAC, of course, also Business Capital, the DBA of AMPAC Tri-State Certified Development Company, in conjunction with the U.S. Small Business Administration and a host of other partners, is hosting its 15th annual Faith-Based Small Business Summit, making the connection between faith and business, on Thursday, October 17th, 2024, in the city of Ontario, California, from 8:45 to 3:30 p.m. Yours truly will be acting as MC. It's quite an honor for me, so I hope to see you there. For more information, reach out to Hilda Kennedy at 909-915-1706 or email hkennedy@ampac.com for more information. Don't miss my interview with Jesse Melgar, Senior Advisor for Strategy and Public Affairs at the University of California Possibility Lab. After serving as Senior Advisor and Director of Engagement for California 100 at the UC Berkeley Goldman School of Public Policy, Jesse is a Vice Chair of the Inland Empire Community Foundation, where he is the founder and chair of the Cultivating Inland Empire Latino Opportunity Fund, also known as the Cielo Fund. The Cielo Fund has raised nearly $2 million to support grants, research, scholarships, and narrative change campaign for Latinos in the Inland Empire. Next week, we will have Gene. He is a retired police officer, having spent 35 years in the profession. He last held the position of police chief for the city of Chino. Gene became a Rotarian in 1986 with the Club of Orange North, District 5320. He held virtually all positions, including club president and Rotarian of the Year. He came to the RC of Chino, District 5300 in 1998 and assumed the club presidency in 2003. Gene received his potential Rotary Leadership Seminar pin in 2005, Rotarian of the Year in 2002, and a recipient of the Distinguished Service Above Self Award from Rotary International in 2013. He is a Paul Harris Society member, and his wife Louise and all 3 of his children and their spouses are Paul Harris Fellows. He's going to be talking about his work as a chairman of the Rotary Rose Parade Committee. And we're so excited to talk about the float that we're going to get to enjoy on New Year's Day 2025. You don't want to miss it. We will see you all next week.